Now, this is a good comment. How do you approach the Epicurean paradox in an apologetic way? And even though many of you might be thinking that you've never heard of the Epicurean paradox, most likely as a Christian, you've heard it. You just didn't know that it was called the Epicurean paradox. So here is the Epicurean paradox. A lot of atheists feel like this is their big trump card. The way it works is there's a series of questions, and no matter how you answer them, the atheist believes that they all prove that God is either not real, or he's not truly all-loving, or he's not all-powerful. So it begins with the fact that evil exists. The answer is yes. So the next question is, can God prevent evil? If the answer is no, then God is not all-powerful. If the answer is yes, then the next question is, does God know about all the evil? If the answer is no, then he's not all-knowing. If the answer is yes, the next question is, does God want to prevent evil? If the answer is no, then God is not good, nor is he loving. If the answer is yes, then the question goes to, then why is there evil? And from this part, they have a bunch of different routes that things can go, because most likely the answers are going to be things like free will, the devil, testing us, etc., etc. So if they say that it's to test us, the response is, if God is all-knowing, he would know what we would do if we were tested. Therefore, no need to be tested. If the answer is Satan, then that proves that God is not capable of stopping Satan. He's not truly all-powerful, maybe not truly loving. And then there's the final question, could God have created a universe without these? And if the Christian says yes, then it flows back up to, well, then he's not loving because he didn't do so. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about how we can approach this. Now, when it comes to an apologetic way, there's many different ways because there's different types of apologetics. But I'm going to go ahead and share with you how I approach this. I begin by saying their premise is faulty. The problem is this entire paradox depends on the fact that we can, one, define objective evil, and two, evil is a thing. So this entire paradox is built on a false understanding of what evil is. You see, the way this paradox kind of paints it is as if there's this room and God created two cups. One cup is good, one cup is evil. Why would God create that evil cup? But you see, the truth is evil is not an object. It is a construct that we use to describe something. Just like cold is not an object, however, we have to define what happens when there's an absence of heat. Just like darkness is not an object, however, that is what we call the thing that is absence of light. Evil is not an object. What it is the absence of God or his order. You cannot pick up evil and hold it. Evil is the absence of good, just like death is the absence of life. So before we even get to the first question, we have to understand, what is evil? Evil is the product of choice. For example, it's like hunger. Hunger is not an object. It describes what happens when you have a lack of nutrition. Hunger is not created. The human is created. The human's need for food is created. And therefore, if they don't eat that food, then they're hungry. But God did not create hunger. He gave us food, and the lack of that is hunger. Now, at this point, somebody's either commenting it right now or they already commented Isaiah 45:7, thinking they're about to prove something where it says, I form light and I create darkness. I make peace and I create evil. The funny thing about that is only a couple translations actually use the word evil there, so they have to purposely grab those translations. Because the word being used there is ra'ah, which is a word that means evil, yes, but it also means disaster and misfortune and calamity. And when you look at the context of what's being said, right before this, he says he makes peace, the word shalom in Hebrew. So what is being said here is that I give peace to people, but I also bring misfortune to people. I don't know if you know this, but if you look at any of the times God brought judgment, it's pretty much misfortune, disaster, and calamity. Now let's get back to this paradox. On top of the fact that it's built on a faulty understanding of evil, all of these questions are actually extremely blasphemous for a Christian to even answer. Like, can God prevent evil? First of all, who am I to speak for what God can do, and who is the atheist to judge what God can do? As I've stated in the past, until an atheist can take a pile of dirt and create something that's alive, why should I listen to their opinion on what God should have done? Can God prevent evil? Sure, he could have made a planet with no humans on it. A world with no human beings that can actually rebel against God or disobey him is a world without evil. That God is not all-powerful. Why? I don't know if you know this, but one of the greatest examples of power is restraint. God allowing his creation to have a freedom of choice, and therefore the consequences of disobeying him is evil. That doesn't limit his power. If anything, it shows his true power. Because even though he could have made us as robots and therefore everything works out exactly as programmed, he's able to give us all freedom and it still works out exactly as he plans. Because the Bible makes it clear that in the end days, God will remove all things that are evil. He will remove all murder, all death, all illness, all poverty, all hunger, everything. Wipe away all the tears. So the fact that he's able to give us all freedom and still accomplish his mission, that's pretty powerful. Does God know about all the evil? Absolutely. Does God want to prevent evil? And here the problem is with the question. Imagine asking a parent if they want to prevent their children from doing things that are illegal. Parent would definitely say yes. But if the child goes out and does something illegal, that's not the parent's fault. Did you want the parent to lock them in the house? Because this argument is, well, why did God let me go out and have freedom? God should have locked us all in our bedroom and said no. All in all, this entire paradox is built on two faulty issues. Number one, they don't understand what evil is. And number two, they're answering their own questions when they don't even understand God, so of course it looks like it's a good thing. Whenever somebody asks the questions of their opponent and then answers for their opponent, they'll always look like they have the best argument. Ready? Watch this. Hey, atheists, where do you think life came from?
I don't know. I think it came from rocks.
Oh, look at that, guys. Answering for your opponent so you can sound like you had a good argument isn't really a good tactic. And with the little bit of time I have left, let me go ahead and give a piece of advice for anybody that comes across these argumentative atheists. Their goal is to get you to plead your case. They want you to treat them like they're the ones on the throne of judgment, like you have to bring forth evidence to them and prove everything to them. So when situations like this come up, they automatically assume like you have to answer, you have to explain, you, as if they somehow have the moral high ground on God. Stop them in their tracks and say, wait a minute, what is evil? How can you define what evil is? How can we start here at evil existing if you don't know what evil is? Because if there is no God, how do you define objective evil? All you can say is your subjective evil, and your subjective evil means nothing to me. If you and I are both evolved monkeys from space dust, then your evolved monkey brain, my evolved monkey brain, I could care less what your opinion of evil is. Unless you have something to appeal to that's beyond your own self, then it is subjective. And literally all atheists have to appeal to is either the majority or some type of dictator, in which they're still appealing to humans. They like to say, well, we don't need a God to define evil. You're right, but you need a God to be able to tell me that your definition matters. If there's 1 million people here and 1 million people here, and these 1 million people say, we think it's okay to kill you and take your stuff, you can't just say, well, no, we disagree because that's evil. All right, says who? Well, we do because we should all treat each other how we want to be treated. No, I think that we should definitely try and do whatever we can to help our society, and that would be kill you and take your stuff. That's why I respect Friedrich Nietzsche, because at least he admitted that if there is no God, then nothing matters. The only thing that matters is survival of the fittest. Don't let them dominate the conversation where they constantly have you trying to defend yourself. Flip it around and put them on the stand. The truth is, a lot of them do this because they do think that Christians are below them. Because for us to believe in a God, like, we're not smart. We don't have it all up here. So in their mind, it really is like, bring forth your Christian to defend your God. Prove to me your God is worthy of my worship. Nah, not over here, bruh. The truth is, most people asking these questions, they could care less about the answers. They just want you to doubt God. They want you to doubt his existence. Because even though they claim to not believe, the Bible makes it clear that they're just suppressing the truth because of their unrighteousness. And they can't stand seeing Christians who confidently believe and confidently stand in the grace of God. So their goal is to make you doubt. That's why most of them just jump from topic to topic to topic. They don't actually care about the answer. They're trying to find out where you don't have an answer at. Just listen to the debates on TikTok. Well, what about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Ah, you don't know that? You're an idiot. People aren't asking questions in order to learn and gain knowledge. So I hope this helps. God bless and go in peace, guys.